Hola, it's Profe Frost here. Buenas noches, good evening. I'm here to record the Spanish 3 Back to School Night video, and I enjoy thinking of being with the parents of Spanish 3 because this is either my second or my third year with the students. I've thoroughly enjoyed being here at SPA. I'm really proud to be the Spanish 1, 2, 3 teacher that I can see the students grow over time. That's something that you don't get in a regular high school environment. So it's really an honor to have your students for another year. I'm a little sad I won't have them next year, assuming all things go well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I have a presentation for you. And just to be clear, the information I'm providing you has been on Google Classroom for a bit. It's just not been sorted in the way that Back to School Night would usually sort it. So you'll see in a moment what I mean. Okay, let's go. All right, this is Back to School Night 2020, 2021 for Spanish 3. So this is considered an 11th grade level course. And so this is a part of the syllabi that explains just general information. My office hours have changed to Tuesdays and Thursdays in the morning and by appointment. And this is really great for meeting with students should they have any questions. Should you have any questions, parents, or should students have any questions, my email is alicia.frost@cocospa.org. I'll repeat this at the end of the presentation as well. We're encouraged to put our personal bio from the website into our syllabus so that parents can get to know us. So this is a little blurb. I've condensed it from last year, going over my academic credentialing as well as my experience in the arts. Nothing too new from last time I did this a year ago with the students. What I like to remind students is that I was on a road of not knowing much Spanish when I started in 7th grade. I didn't fall in love with the language until I was in college and had fully discovered the richness. I do love Spanish as a language and feel more at home when I listen to it, when I hear it, when I speak it than in English. And I didn't know Spanish until, I wouldn't say I was fluent until college. So it's kind of a unique experience. All to say that I have a lot of kindness and compassion for students whom the language is not easy. And I have a lot of kindness and compassion for those who are nervous about trying something new. So that's always been at the backbone of my educator values. And so my mantra last year was kindness and compassion, and this year it's patience and resilience. So I know that distance learning is asking a lot of students and of parents. So I will always thank our students for patience and resilience as we're navigating new platforms, we're navigating new schedules, navigating new all sorts of things. So please know that your students are very dear to me and they matter a lot to me. Okay. So I'm going to repeat, all this information is on Google Classroom for you. The bulk of the information is in the 2 resources that are at the top of the classwork list, the syllabus for Spanish 3 and the course policy for Spanish 3. They're both course policies, but we call one the syllabus because that covers the overall information of the course. Excuse me. And the other one has more specifics around learning a language at CocoSpa. So in the top right corner, you'll always see an indicator of what document this refers to or what material on Google Classroom this item was copied from. So course information, we're asked to discuss what topics will be covered this year. So as level 3 students, they've progressed from speaking about the self to speaking about their communities, their local communities, their dear communities, and we're going to expand into regional and global level sort of conversation regarding people, pastimes, histories and narratives, the future, and an ideal world. I'm looking forward to that unit very much because it's into the wishfulness, and if I could, I would, and in an ideal world, this would happen. So I look forward to this. Is a really special adventure to be going on with Spanish 3s, and so each of these is its own unit. These are all practical world experience based. So these are not just to go through a project in Spanish. This is to be relevant to students as they leave my classroom, as they go into the practical world. For those who are not as familiar with the grading policy, it's broken down as such in the syllabus. Most of my students are returning to CocoSpa, so they know all this information already. And there's a visual diagram should you want more clarity on how things are sorted, but I'll just kind of continue along here. Every project has its own project description to help organize the what are we trying to do, what skills do we need to be able to have that communication. What does it look like to have this communication? How is it relevant to me as a student when I go into the practical world, and how am I being evaluated? So in a 3-page template, I will always explain to students what's expected, what I am aiming to give my students the ability to express. And so I've gone over this document a few different times with students. I encourage parents to sit with their student and have the student explain the document to them to help build some reinforcement of what we're covering in class. So there are multiple platforms we're using to engage the students and create the quality learning experience we want our students to have. So 3 of them pertain to academic classes in general, and 2 of them are specific to my class at least. So Summit is where students hold their classwork. That's where students will submit their work. That's where the grading occurs, the live feedback. PowerSchool is for attendance records and for your official grades. Google Classroom is a fallback for the PLP should anything happen. The assignments are always there. Also, a lot of other really good things that I'll show you in a future slide. Flipgrid is where I like to collect student improvisation and student showcasing of what they're mastering over time. And so students have been using that every Wednesday so far. I do like the idea of continuing that practice of collecting student voice and expression. To support the expression and reinforce vocabulary between classes, Quizlet is the platform I'm using. I've used it for the past couple of years with students. So like I said, being the second or third year with a student really makes a difference in terms of creating norms that we can count on. On the right-hand side, you'll see explanations of accessibility and who to contact should you lose access to the platform. So that's that. Every project will have its own space on Google Classroom. So right now there's only one project, and that's El Personaje Principal, which is the main character. So we're learning how to describe stories, what happens in a plot, things like that. So every project section will start with a project description, the 3-page item explaining the vision and mission of the project. And the second item on the list will always be something called agendas, recordings, and slides. This is a thing that I've been eager to get to tonight, because when you click on it, it's a Google Sheet that has information about what we're covering in class, the checkpoint or focus area that pertains to it. Any slide decks that are part of the lecture slides should be there. And I try and include a session summary, just kind of a overview of what we've done in class. So this is a catch-all space should students not be able to attend class or get into class for whatever reason. I always have materials there. It's a live document. This is what most college courses would consider a syllabi. So I'll keep this updated to the best of my ability. And if there's something there that is missing, then please don't hesitate to reach out. I'd rather students have what they need when they need it instead of waiting for who knows when. So in the spirit of giving students what they need, I do have office hours, and the students know how much I love to offer my office hours. It's on their calendar already, and I had to adjust it once or twice to make sure that I was accessible to all students. So mine are in the mornings instead of the afternoons from 8:30 to 9:15. It's a drop-in for all 3 levels. You don't have to make an appointment, but if you'd prefer a confidential meeting, we can make an appointment. But either way, I'm accessible Tuesdays and Thursdays in the morning, and I look forward to seeing students come in. Another benefit we have for Mr. G. Mr. G is an educator who's returning to the Spanish classes, and he's an IA who is available to have office hours Wednesday in the afternoons. So I put that on the student schedule as well to make sure they know that there's, for 3 days of the week, there's someone that they can get to practice their Spanish, to get support in a concept, to figure out what's going on a checkpoint. We are both very enthusiastic about supporting the students. So please know that we are there for them. A lot of information in a short amount of time. And I know that there may be other questions or there's information that might not have been covered tonight. So please know that the 2 documents at the top of Google Classroom are the best ones to look at for 90% of the information covered tonight, as well as the project description items that are in its own unit title. So a lot of resources. And like I said, if you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to email me at alicia.frost@cocospa.org. Thank you so much and have a great evening.